Jake, can you tell us anything about your new bike? No. Has a new bike?
Sorry, you can't.
No, all right, yeah. We're just interested in that bike there. Can you tell us anything about it?
I can't.
You can't? No. Okay. Certainly interesting.
You went all the way to France just to get no comments.
Yeah, we had some nice wine as well, but otherwise, yeah.
Sounds about right. The Tour de France is just around the corner, and the teams use races like the Dauphiné to test any new bikes and equipment. Now, the first bike that you guys saw looks absolutely mad, and it might just be the fastest bike in 2025, but the other might take Jonas Vingegaard to the actual Tour de France title. So Factor surprised us with what looks very much like a new aero racer, and God knows how they kept things quiet because there was absolutely no chatter online about this. But Jack, what did you actually spot?
Well, this bike has a huge amount going on, with the most striking thing being the super wide fork. We've seen a few of these in the past with the likes of the Hope track bike and Factor's own Hanzo TT bike, but nothing on the road really, nothing road going. The reason cited for that width is generally something to do with shaping, disrupting of the flow of air around the rider's legs, which should make the rider and bike system faster overall.
Now, widening the fork legs should also allow the front wheel to spin in kind of cleaner air, but it doesn't look like Factor's fork is as wide as Hope's. So it will be interesting to see what specific claims Factor makes about this design. Those fork legs are also really deep, and they kind of jut out really significantly from the crown area. Now, I can see some serious profiling around the brake caliper, which might mean that the designers are trying to clean up the airflow around the brake, but I do find it a bit strange to see so much brake hose left kind of exposed.
Moving up to the head tube, Factor has gone super deep here, but also quite skinny. Now, we don't know specifically what's going on inside. I'd bet on it being a very similar system to Colnago's Y1 RS.
Yeah.
Colnago used a solid rod in place of an actual steerer tube to get the front end as skinny as possible. And that is what I think we're seeing here.
Yeah, I would agree. If you move up a little more, and the bike seems to be sporting a brand new cockpit with a V-shaped design that is reminiscent again of the Y1 RS, but also Bianchi's Ultra. Oh, and what's that on the bar that I see? Oh yeah, it is a reminder to subscribe because that really does help us to make this content for you. While we're there, be a lamb and like this video. Thank you very much. Anyway, on the subject of front ends, loads of bike brands are actually putting effort into making their cockpits as slippery as possible. It's an area where they can save a few watts, and I recently spoke to another brand who have a new bike at the tour. You'll have to wait to find out what that is. And they emphasized the importance of those leading edges of the bike.
Yeah, but of course this is nothing new. If you think about bikes like the Specialized Tarmac SL8, that's got the speed sniffer head tube and the Roval Rapide cockpit at the front, while the rear end seems to have far less emphasis placed on the aerodynamics.
Jack, it's also to me quite funny to see the trends of the bike industry turning in favour to full-on aero bikes again. Around 2020, I think they kind of like went out of fashion a little bit, with everyone just kind of producing that similar and, quite honestly, quite boring lightweight meets aero mashup. Specialized? Bring back the Venge, maybe?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, that was my takeaway from this, that this design, especially with the relaxation of the UCI's rules on bike design, this could open up a lot of new bikes, perhaps, like a new generation of aero bikes. But anyway, Israel Premier Tech's Jake Stewart made good use of the new bike. He won the bunch sprint behind the late attackers on stage 1 of the Criterium de Dauphiné, with what looked like some considerable speed. So this is definitely a speedy Tour de France bike to watch out for.
Yeah, absolutely. But one brand who never lost faith with a good aero bike is Cervélo. Its S5 has long been seen as a leading design. And Jack, you saw the new machine, which could help Jonas Vingegaard to win the Tour de France this year.
We actually managed to speak to a Cervélo employee who was chatting away with a fellow bike industry chap from BMC, maybe sharing some ideas. He confirmed to us that it is indeed a new bike and will officially be launching soon. We did know, of course, but it's nice to have that official confirmation. We did also swing by Visma's team bus the previous day. Bit cheeky, they weren't very keen on that, and they swiftly chucked the unreleased bike back in their van before we could really take any pictures. I think we got some little sneak shots of it in the van, but yeah, they got that thing away before we could see.
Yeah, absolutely. At least you didn't get thrown off.
No, I suppose. No, we didn't get physically manhandled or anything. But anyway, our guy at Cervélo did say that this new bike is significantly different to the current model. And of course, he reckons it's lighter and faster, the full shebang.
Of course it is.
The fork legs are undoubtedly deeper and the same size all the way down to the through axles, whereas they slim down on the current version.
You can also see that the cockpit has been redesigned and it's now completely a one-piece affair rather than having the bars and the V-shaped stem kind of bolted together. There's also a newer, deeper head tube with the leading edge kind of extended out in front of the head tube.
The back end looks largely unchanged at first glance, but the part of the seat tube where it meets the seat post is undoubtedly more compact. I'm not quite sure what that means, but it is. As the Cervélo employee says, a lot more appears to have changed than was initially reported when pictures of the bike were first leaked. Having seen it, I'd have to agree.
Now, Jack, I also heard that you got a long and very insightful chat about the new bike with Sepp Kuss. What did he have to say about the new bike?
Oh, well, he said it was...
Good.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm glad he likes it.
Yeah.
Looks like we'll have to wait for official details to know more. But I have to say, I love the look of both bikes. And I know that aero bikes don't appeal to everyone, but I think they're really cool. If you do too, then remember to like this video and why not check out the Tour de France Pro Tech trends that can actually make you faster.
Even me.
Even, to be fair, Jack, even me.
Wonderful.